Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Love Brought You Here podcast. I'm your host, Cassandra, and today, this actually reminds me of the days when I did my first podcast when I was very newly homeless and I was sleeping in my car and sometimes having motels to record in because everything is just mass chaos today. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong, and I'm still going to roll with it because it is what it is. I've recorded through worse. So I am actually at one of the many branches of the Denver Library. I often record at different branches around here, and this is like a huge 7 foot building. And when I say I don't know what's happening, I don't know what's happening. But today there's like some kind of drumming party situation, and the entire building has been shaking. So if you hear that in the background, okay. I've recorded when I heard gunshots before. And then on top of it, the Wi-Fi is not working very well here today. And my software, my computer, I'm not quite sure how I managed to record the last episode from it because it does not work anymore. So I'm being innovative, and I had to figure out a different way to get my guest on the episode today. So bear with me. But again, innovation, this is my first podcast that I recorded that I mentioned. I heard gunshots in the background when I was sleeping in my car, and I'm just recording with no notes. And it's kind of cool how podcasts work. Went to Scotland and was studied at, I think it's called Edinburgh University. It's a liberal arts school. It was included as part of a master's thesis for one of the students as part of the rebellion, or I forget how she worded it. It's actually up on my LinkedIn if you check out that link. But yeah, it was part of the resistance. That's what it was. The Appalachian resistance to like mainstream healing culture. And I still think that was probably one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. So anyway, I will introduce my guest this week in just a moment, but I want to talk about something really quickly. And that is this, I know I've experienced this myself in the past 4 years, this pendulum swing of overcorrection, but you see it in society too. The thing that I keep thinking about today is skincare. I'm a kid that was born in 1983, and so I grew up in the 90s. And skincare, you didn't do skincare. You wanted to look as dehydrated as you possibly could. You went through so much to make sure there was so much powder caked on your face so that it looked like you had not had any water to drink since your birth year. And that was probably accurate also. So, I mean, perhaps it wasn't totally a lie or totally weird. It was just a sign of the times. But now we've overcorrected to the point that I can't tell you how much I spend a lot of time thinking about this, and it's kind of ridiculous. I'll watch people and I'm like, your face is just wet. You look like you look like you just were born. You look like you just came out of the damn birth canal. And you're like, oh, it's dewy. Your face isn't dewy. You look gross. And I do know why we overcorrect to such a degree. And that's actually part of the podcast. When is it too much? When have we gone too far? And my answer is we go too far all the time. I know when I was first navigating homelessness, I went too far all the time. I went too far into surrender and stop trying to control everything. And that'll get you killed. It could. So there's just too far for anything. And the human, just kind of the way that behavior works is we overcorrect before we get it right, before we find the balance. But the problem that I see all the time is not the overcorrection. It's not the mistakes that we make, because mistakes are how we learn. It's actually the ways that we don't stop overcorrecting because we're outsourcing our own authority. We're looking for someone else to tell us what's right. And that's why you see trends, and that's why you see wet faces everywhere, because everyone's looking for someone else to tell them when it's too much and what they should be doing next. And so that's kind of a segue into the introduction to my next guest. This will probably be a short episode because she has somewhere else to be. She's kind of a time traveler. Some may say, some may not. But my guest is actually, let me give you some background. So in 2022, this person technically became homeless. She left some domestic violence that she did not actually know how bad it was until later. But this is 2023. She'd gotten the best job of her life just out of domestic violence. It also included some weird, like, medical abuse with it. And she got the best job. But because of all of this medical abuse, she had been a heavy cannabis user. And so even though this job, she had talked to openly about it, I use medical cannabis, she tested dirty a month later. Like, they pushed out her hire date. And so at this point, you see her, she had made this decision of, okay, well, I'm going to roll with this. There was just this peace and calm, she's told me, that she knew that there was something better coming. She didn't really have a place to stay because of, she didn't. She, like, all of her living situations had fallen through, and she was relying on this job that now she didn't have. So she took it and she decided to present it to everyone else like she had made a decision that she was going to drive around the country and give all her stuff away. That's not exactly what happened, but you know what? Your perspective is everything. And she didn't realize she was poor at the time. And this guest is actually me from the year 2023. Now, I had this whole setup that I was going to have this video on my podcast recording, but that didn't work. So, do you hear the party? The party's still going on. Like, I think I want to go downstairs instead of doing this, instead of hanging out with my old self. But from 2023, and you'll have to bear with me because I have to play it on my phone for you. So hopefully you can hear it if you're listening instead of just watching. But I'm going to have a conversation with myself. And yeah, here we go. Welcome me from the year 2023. This was exactly a year ago, about like almost to the date. I think it might be April 20th. Newly sleeping in my car. So that was fun. Recording this podcast that would get international recognition, making some interesting decisions, but that's okay because, yeah, we'll get into it. All right, so wish me luck. I see she's made a choice, this like homeless chic look we've got going on. And yeah, there's some snacks and a laptop. Good job.
It is just before 3 a.m. and I woke up.
Yeah.
And it's quiet.
Oh my God, who would have thought? 3 a.m.?
I think I chose the only hotel in the city that's like super sketchy.
This was Frederick, Maryland.
Whatever, when you're on a budget, reviews don't matter.
I mean, there's some truth to that.
Anyway, since it's actually quiet right now, I'm going to try to record my podcast or at least get it started, so.
Yeah, you could try that. I mean,
in absolute amazing news and total gratitude, I was sent some money from someone who, and so my hotel, I have a place to sleep again tonight. And
wow, good job.
I'm not crying now
Because you got what you wanted?
I suck.
No, I don't think you suck. But let's talk about this for just a moment. And I'm sorry that this is so far away, but you know, sound and let's talk about what happens when we decide to outsource our power. Again, this was me, and there is no shame. I love this version of myself. Like, this is the girl who took a step out and said, I'm not dealing with this abuse anymore. This is also the girl who was like understood on some level, even if she couldn't articulate it yet, that she couldn't get a real like 9-to-5 job at that moment. She was very sick. She was still recovering. Like, her body was messed up. She had a lot of brain damage from abuse and then also like the medical component of what had happened to her. She was afraid to say some things out loud that were happening, like that she wanted to choose a creative endeavor. But that's okay. That's okay. Because I think that when we look externally, of course, we're not going to find the answers. But the other thing is, it's okay to sit in victimhood. Like, I know that's going to be like an unpopular thing, but like, we're all victims, right? we've been a victim at some point, and it is good, and I think a rite of passage to actually feel that and to deal with that. But the problem happens with whatever phase you're in if you don't grow through it. And that's the problem. That's the problem that you see again and again in society. That is why I am done working with adults. Like, y'all don't want to change. You just want to be validated. You want to be seen. And like, I get it because I sat in that for a little bit too. But you got to do some work. Like, you got to make a difference. And anyway, let's see what else she has to say.
It's the most amazing news ever. So thank you to the person who did that.
Oh, yeah, because they definitely had your best interest at heart. No, like if help is too good to be true, trust that, ma'am. Because let me show you, this is also how that person would make you feel a few months later. Like this is you running from that person's house. Yeah, so you'll figure it out. Oh, so now we're gonna go to a park and hang out because we're going to choose luxury for my. She's choosing luxury for herself, and I support that. Parks are free. Like, good job, Cassie. I'm proud of you. 2023 version.
Thanks to the kindness of someone,
We're still talking about this.
I haven't been able to secure a hotel for another night.
Oh, and this just says. Desperation is a playground for predators, and that was the future me writing this in 2024. I wrote this the night before, like literally, I wrote this the night before I accidentally joined a cult in Colorado. That's kind of the short of the long of why I'm in Denver. So desperation is a playground for predators. And I was desperate at that time because I thought that the scariest thing in the world was not going to have a motel. I'm saying hotel, but it was a motel. Like this place was sketchy. And that was my sense. That was how I define stability. That to me, I didn't understand. That was me choosing a certain part of luxury for myself. I think that was the right thing for me to do. That was genuinely that's where I put my focus. There's a saying that like crackheads, if you're a crackhead, you're not going to go without it. Like you're going to figure out how to get your next hit. And that's true of anything. Like if we should all be more like crackheads. And then I say that I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Someone with substance use disorder, but I think that we should all strive to be more like crackheads because they're not going to miss an opportunity. Where you put your focus, whether you believe this spiritually, psychologically, whatever, where you put your focus, you're going to see results. And so I wanted a damn motel room and I got one at a cost.
I'm so incredibly grateful for it. Just knowing that there's going to be a place to sleep tonight is amazing. And, it gives me the opportunity to continue to work on the things that are important that I believe in while getting back on my feet.
So, ma'am, excuse me. And I think what she didn't want to say there was she wanted to pursue her creative endeavor. And I'm telling you right now, 2023 me, you can do that. You can choose to do that. You can put your focus towards that and it will get you to the places that you need to be. Love yourself. Let yourself heal through that. But there are some caveats to it.
I'm believing that because I believe in the things that I'm doing and the way that I have healed, I'm going to be taken care of.
And I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But how long did it take you to understand that manifesting a sandwich just means that you're missing a meal that day? Like, and this is what I mean of the overcorrection of I had tried to control everything in my entire life because trauma. And now we're going to just complete surrender. I'm not going to ask for anything. I'm just going to sit here and let's see how that worked out.
So since December, I have been using kind of a unicorn of a food pantry sort of situation. Many food pantries require a local ID to use their service. IDs cost money. This food pantry, it is just out in the open. It's accessible all the time. It's just a rogue agency of people that organize it. It's the way that I've been able to survive since December. Because they are a rogue little organization, they do struggle with funding. It is Frederick County Community Fridge.
And you know what? I love this about this version of myself. I didn't understand, but part of choosing luxury was that I found actionable solutions in the community. Like I mentioned this on the last episode of the podcast. It took me a little while to accept that I needed outside resources. But I think where we often get stuck, and I know I got stuck here for a while too, is we look for these outside systems and resources to give us the answer. Like I talked extensively, this is how I almost ended up in a cult, about how broken the systems were. Was I wrong? No, like I knew what the hell I was talking about. However, the system provides support, not an answer. And if you are looking for a complete answer, that's how you get stuck in the system, because they're not designed for you to succeed. You have to make a choice to succeed. And like, I'm telling my 2023 version, who the lighting's terrible. Like, I don't know if this was like a commitment to, to just, a commitment to the role, to this like poverty that I had chosen, and for good reason. Again, I'm not knocking it. Every choice I made was a choice that was very hard and it came with consequences. But like, I'm genuinely grateful. But I'm going for James Baldwin here, and this is given like after school special. But let's see what she's going through.
It is, I think, going on 9. And, I could not secure a hotel for tonight.
Because you didn't ask for money.
So I looked up where you can stay in your car, because I do have a car, so that's great.
Wow.
And you can actually park in some spaces. I'm at Cracker Barrel right now.
So there are snacks nearby. That's great for you.
You're supposed to stay for more than like a day, and you're supposed to ask, but they're closed already, so.
Fuck them.
There are other people here. It feels really safe. There's like an RV next to me. It's a mild spring day. It's perfect weather, so I have my window cracked just a little bit. And, yeah, I mean, really, I'm just really grateful for the fact that I still have shelter. I've been through worse, so.
And you have time to go through worse. Again, don't worry. There's plenty of time to suffer.
It wouldn't be so bad, except everything I own is in my car, so. But that means I have clothes in my car for pillows, because I don't have pillows. So anyway.
Wow, what good fortune. You have clothes that you can bundle it behind your head. Like you definitely would not want to think about like getting rid of any of those things that you think are providing you with comfort and with safety because of this decision you made to choose poverty and to drive around the country and give your things away. Again, like kudos. That was a brave and delusional decision. Sometimes we need that delusion. Like I said, like you manifest in skipping a meal, like, cause you're not doing anything. Complete surrender. Whew. She'll learn. But there's always a price that you pay. And so for this complete freedom that I had wanted, there were a lot of things I had to sacrifice. Let's see.
Thinking about just going to like a Sheets or someplace with like a cafe little area with Wi-Fi and just staying up all night.
Yeah, you don't need to sleep. It's overrated.
This sucks. I'm too bougie for this.
You'll be fine.
So be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me more.
I was 18. I'll be 40 next month. When I was 18 years old, I remember sitting in my college dorm and deciding that I wanted to join the Peace Corps.
So I have a little bit more information about this. So what had happened was actually that I decided I was going to join the Peace Corps. I don't know. Usually it's easier to fix other things that are outside of us than to fix ourselves. Just saying. But yeah, so I'm looking up Peace Corps and my roommate came in and I was on AOL, America Online, dial up. And she picked up the phone to call her girlfriend and I got knocked offline and I was like, oh my God, this is too hard to look up, which was probably the right answer because I never would have made it in the Peace Corps at that time, retrospectively. However, And this ain't no lie about be careful what you wish for. I thought this many times over the past few years. So what happened after AOL?
And you had to have like a degree or something, or you had to pay. So that wasn't going to work because I just come to college.
Oh, right. Right, yeah.
And I don't even remember why I wanted to do that. Then there were so many times between semesters or whatever, I'd have my car packed up full of my stuff, and I'd be like, I just want to drive. I just want to drive. And so now I'm actually living out of my car. And now my wish came true, but I didn't know that I didn't necessarily want this to happen, like that I had to do it for survival.
Well, there's a price to pay.
So be careful what you wish for. Again, any tips are welcome.
No, honey, you're going to be so triggered by any tips.
This morning was super rough.
Tell me about
really
it.
didn't sleep last night.
Oh.
I was talking to a friend and I was like, my God, like, how do I even get out of this? And I was very down on myself and I was like, I made this choice.
It's true, you did. Yeah.
I almost forgot. Happy 420.
Oh, happy.
One of the best holidays of the year. As someone with complex PTSD, it's the only thing that ever helped with me. And I took a lot of sedatives, a lot of psych drugs.
So I know you and I have a little bit of insight. I don't think it's the only thing that ever helped you. I think maybe like learning to leave bad situations and people like that might have helped you a little bit, but please go on. Tell me more.
But medical cannabis, it really helped. I don't even need it now at this point. I don't even use it anymore.
Is that because you don't need it or because you're broke?
But it's such a shame that more people don't have access to it because of the laws and such.
Just ask for money. Just say you want to get
I'm
high.
hoping to participate in 420 tonight by somehow magically getting the money for a hotel room so I don't have to sleep in my car again.
Keep manifesting, babe. It's going to work out for you, I promise.
If you're interested in why I'm homeless,
They're not.
I have CPTSD and I'm living in my car, check out my podcast.
Yeah, this was the first podcast and no one was interested because here's the thing. There were people interested. I'm a liar. Here's the thing. As I said, being a victim is a rite of passage. Understanding that what you went through was horrendous and should have never happened to you is 100%. Like, healing is great. And even though I hate mainstream healing culture, again, that's why my podcast got picked up in Scotland. It tells you have to buy these things and do these things. It tells you what to do, which is the bullshit behind it all. You're never meant, the only thing that's constant in this world is change. Like, that's the only thing that's constant. And so you can get stuck at any point in your life. And that includes healing. That includes just the validation part of healing. Because it feels really good to be seen. Like, it felt good to drive around and be like, I'm homeless because this happened to me, this unthinkable thing when I was a child. And then this marriage left me. And sure, like, it is exactly actually what I needed. It's exactly what I needed. It brought forth the lessons that I needed to learn. But the point is, and not that I'm like I know everything and did everything right. Eventually I got past that because it was a rite of passage. It was a rite of passage to tell my story and it opened up doors for me and I'm proud of myself for doing that. But the thing that happened is I kept attracting more of people who were in the same place, the people who just wanted to sit in victimhood with me. And I don't mean that in the way that it gets said in mainstream. Like, I don't mean that like victim mentality. Oh, you're so weak and you're just annoying and blah, blah, blah. But if you get stuck there, fuck around and find out, I guess. Let's see what else. What else do you have to tell us, 2023?
I quite literally don't know where to go from here.
How about everywhere? You wanted freedom, right?
I just woke up and there were people parked really close to me. They left, but I had to sit here and panic.
You had to sit there and panic? Oh no, you had to.
Drink tap water. But I need to find someplace with a water fountain because most places just have the like automatic hot water.
Oh no, it sounds like you're gonna die.
I don't even have money for anything to drink. I'm almost out of gas.
There's probably some beans from the food pantry.
I haven't slept in so long, like I can't. There's no way I can even do that. So I just literally don't know where to go from here. I'm getting really scared and really freaked out. And I need a shower and
Yeah, you do.
I'm hot.
Oh. At least the birds are singing. That's cool.
Life's really uncertain. my legs, I have a health condition left for my legs, and they are so swollen right now. They hurt because I've just been on the car for days. So
Because you won't get rid of your stuff.
joking about how I kind of set out to do this in November, but I did not want to do it like this. I did not want this to be my scary survival story.
Of course you didn't. You wanted to drive around and you wanted people to see you, but you were afraid to say that. You were afraid to say, I wanted people to watch this journey and to support me. Because you also were afraid to understand that you had all the answers inside of you. Even though you said those words, you were afraid to actually understand that you had the power. You had the power to create your own revenue, to create your own income. You didn't have to do it the 9 to 5 way. It was not going to work for you. You would have been so unhappy and ended up in the same situation that brought you here. Like, love truly did bring you to this place, but it always comes with consequences. Love, as Baldwin said in his famous quote, love brought you here. If you've trusted love this far, don't panic now. Love is not this idea of this passive, beautiful Venus type entity that walks into a room and everyone's like, oh my goodness, I have butterflies, which butterflies are a trauma response, by the way. But anyway, just saying, love is disruptive. Love actually says, I don't care. I don't care what you want me to do because I understand what feels good for me. Love is disruptive. It's a son of a bitch. It's not this Venusian, beautiful, peaceful thing. And I'm proud of this person because that's what I was doing.
So I am cleaning out my car and my wallet and my purse.
Yeah, you are. Good
Because
job.
I'm about to do a thing. And anyway, I found tucked away in my wallet a little note.
Yeah. Who's it from?
From a guy who was my best friend for a really long time.
Was he though?
And it really hurt when I left an abusive marriage and I left without my cats, and I'm an animal lover. And he never reached out to check on me, and I didn't understand why.
You still don't.
I've recently connected the dots, and I understand that
You don't understand yet, but keep
I
going.
had my head so far up my ass to survive. I didn't see what was happening with him.
And that's true. That is true, but
But I found this note from him today.
yeah, what does it say?
I don't know why or when he wrote it, but it says, I'll miss you. Hope you come home soon. Always know you are loved. And I did. I came home.
You did. You did come home, but not in the way that you think that you did there. You came home to yourself. And you are always loved. You were always loved. You loved yourself enough that you're still here. You are in the most emotionally happy time of your life. The physical resources are starting to match because you kept choosing yourself. It had nothing to do with this external outsourcing of what you thought love was at the time. And people are in your life for a season, and there was some amount of support that happened from this person. But 2023 me did not yet understand the sinister nature of what was happening in the background. But you know what? That message was for her. Regardless of if it was faulty, that was exactly what she needed to hear in that moment. This day, when she was freaking out, when she couldn't sleep, when she was getting rid of the things that she owned that created this sense of stability for her. These luxury things. I had paintings in my car at this point that were $400 a piece. And they weren't keeping me safe. I couldn't sell them. You can't sell original art like that. And it really wasn't providing what I thought it did. I thought that those things could keep me safe, but the luxury that I had to choose for myself had less to do with the price tag and more to do with the way that things made me feel. The paintings, while I loved them, they were more about a status symbol. They were my ex-wife's choice of a purchase. But the things that would keep me safe were things like this note. The luxury of being able to hold this physical note and to have it come back through at the very moment that I needed it, regardless of who it was from. It was exactly what I needed at the time because I was learning to trust myself. But these are the silent ways that I was learning to do so.
Okay, so I ended up spending a couple more dollars that I had wanted to, which
This is Earth Day.
unfortunate, but I really believe in giving back, and it's Earth Day. So they didn't have, like I thought they did, everything that I needed in one package. And I wanted to get something for pollinators, for bees to help. So I got pollinator seeds, I needed pots, and then they have this soil that actually fills up a whole bunch and expands. And then I remembered that I also needed containers for when I do have hotels, I can cook in the microwave. Because I have
Snacks.
things like rice and things that I can cook, dry rice. And then I got my deodorant, and actually the Dollar Tree now has a lot of aluminum-free deodorants to choose from, so that's kind of cool. And yesterday, as I started to kind of go through things in my car, go through my past, deal with my past, symbolically and literally, I found a small amount of a gift card for Panera. The internet in my hotel sucks. It's basically like dial-up, like AOL.
Kind of like Denver's.
So I am going to use that Panera gift card and get a coffee. I went to the food pantry. I left what I could. The other day it was a book. And now I am going to, it's Earth Day and it's about to storm really badly. I'm going to go back to my hotel that I have for a couple of days, and I'm going to eat lunch from the stuff that I got from the food pantry.
So there are a couple of things 2023 me that I actually really appreciate about this. First of all, ironically, I bought those same seeds from the Dollar Tree about a week and a half ago, I realized. And those seeds were something that I could put my focus on. And I did. I started growing them in the hotel. I took them all the way down to Florida with me. And it was a way for me to choose myself and to nurture something that was external, but was actually a reflection of me, because we are human beings. We are reflections of nature, and it was something that was beautiful and opulent, and it was $1.25. You know, I'm sure there were people that were like, you were just complaining about not having water, and like, legit, I get it, but also sometimes you have to choose yourself, and I'm proud of me for doing that.
And I am going to then come out to a cafe or maybe like a gas station that has free Wi-Fi.
You should probably wait until it's the middle of the night. You don't sleep. And that is, she has to sign off now for this interview. She had to go back to 2023. And I'll try to show you. The last thing in this video is actually a note that I found while I was cleaning out my car. And it wasn't from an old friend. I mean, I guess you could consider that. It was actually from an old version of myself. It was about probably 2023. I don't know if this is going to show up backwards on the screen or not either, but it's an envelope, and whatever was in the envelope had been taken out and destroyed. I'm not sure why I did that or where, but in 2003, I would have been probably like 19 years old. And the bottom of the envelope, it's highlighted, and in all caps, it says never. And then it says doubt yourself again. I have no idea what was in this envelope. I am sure it was a letter to myself. I used to leave letters to myself quite frequently. But I think what a beautiful tribute in that moment, to find that in that moment. I'm sure it had sat there for years and years and years, because I actually remember reading my journals at this point, and then tossing them, getting rid of them because it was too much to carry. I was slowly getting rid of things from the past, and those journals actually gave me insight that I had needed, that I saw patterns for the first time in my life. I saw myself making decisions when I was 19 from stuff that was childhood trauma that I wasn't aware of at the time. And I was able to start at least being conscious of this and start correcting it. And so I know I kind of like roasted myself in this 2023 version of who I was. But the beautiful thing is, there were so many mistakes in there. There were so many things that I was doing wrong. And I'm so honored to have recorded it and to have all these memories, because I have years and years of these videos. Because all of those mistakes taught me what I didn't want. They taught me the things that I didn't need to do. I think, and I know for myself at least, there are so many times, like even just recording this episode today, everything went wrong. I wanted it to have a certain aesthetic. I still don't know if the podcast is going to like pick up the recording on my phone. And even I just couldn't get the feeling right when I was thinking this through. I didn't have a guest like booked right, because this is a very new podcast. But the choice that I made was to continue and pursue this creative endeavor. The things that I didn't want to say there was I wanted to pursue a podcast. Right now, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and it's so much easier than it was back then with no resources. I'm building a nonprofit. I've spoken at the Colorado State Capitol. I've spoken before legislature. I've spoken to train people who are new advocates for the prevention of child trafficking. I'm doing the things that I never thought were possible because I kept choosing myself. And the way that I kept doing that was by choosing luxury for myself. What does luxury look like? Only you know what it looks like for you. For me, I'm very sensory oriented. Like, it needs to exist in the physical world. It needs to be skincare that doesn't make my damn face look wet. Like, I don't know what we're doing, but it needs to be things like that. Those are the things that make me feel safe. But before I could understand that, I had to lose everything over and over again. I didn't get rid of all the stuff in my car. My car blew up a year later, like literally a year to the date on April 20th, 2024. My car blew up in Cedar City, Utah. It took out everything I owned in it because I was primarily living out of my car still. That included photo albums, which sucks, but it is what it is. It included all my clothes from my marriage when it was wearing 3 sizes bigger than what I was at the time. It was a very humbling experience. I wouldn't make the change for myself. I wouldn't define for myself. I wouldn't look into the fact that what I identified as stability and always had was actually the outsourcing of my own power. And I literally had to be stripped down to nothing, to the very last time that I remember that I lost everything, the last time. And I had rebuilt. I was in a homeless shelter in Denver, Colorado. I had gorgeous clothes though, because if you live in a big city and you're homeless, like I had name brands I'd never had before. But again, that wasn't luxury to me. Luxury to me ended up being the very, very most basic things. But I got so sick because of the conditions in this shelter that I nearly died. I was in the hospital for 2 months. And even though I hadn't been in contact with this shelter, they threw everything I owned away, including my medical equipment, everything. I literally had, actually, it was this dress that I wore to the hospital. That's all I had left in the entire world. And my sister's ashes and my laptop. And you know what? It all came back better. The thing that I didn't realize at the time was I had to be stripped down to literally nothing. I came out of a recuperative care center. I don't know why I've had so many near-death experiences, but I'm really stubborn. I was supposed to have had surgery. I could barely breathe. I could barely walk. You know what? I made this comeback that the doctors are like, what? Why don't you have permanent damage? I don't know. But I am so grateful, not for the things that have happened to me, but for the ways that I have dealt with them. I don't know. This episode went a lot longer than I thought. I hope you can hear it. It's a little avant-garde, the luxury of low expectations, I guess. But I just wanted to share part of my story and part of the ways in which you have to choose yourself over and over again. Because even if I didn't have anything left in the physical world right now, I am the happiest that I've ever been in my entire life. I've learned so much, as I said with my last episode with Savannah as my guest. Every difficult situation that I needed to go through, every time I kept attracting the same people over and over again, the same type of people, friends, whatever, it was exactly the lesson I needed to learn. And I'm grateful to myself for allowing myself the space and the opportunity to actually experience that and to grow through it. But the important thing is keep growing and keep changing, because the moment you become stagnant, the moment you let yourself become comfortable, that's when there are issues. And if you're into astrology, as someone, I have a 5-planet personal planet stellium in Taurus. I've gone through it with Uranus going over all 5 of those planets. Probably when my car blew up. Had nothing to do with my choices, of course. It's all astrology. But in any event, if you don't make the choice for yourself, like, don't get comfortable in a rut. Don't be me. But from 2026 me and 2023 me, thank you for joining again. And if you've suffered through all of this, I'm just kidding. This is awesome. I'm having a great time, and I really don't care if anybody else is or not. So until next time, I'm going to bring myself back here because love brought me here to share that with you. And if you want to join, great. If you don't, I wish you the best. All right. Have a great one.